Hello students, wishing you a very good morning. This is Madhurendra Kumar Verma, Holy Mission Senior Secondary School, Patna, and I am going to teach you the lesson My Mother at 66 from our book Flamingo. So here we are. Dear friends, you will agree with me that a woman plays many important roles in her lifetime, be it the role of a mother, a sister, a daughter, or a daughter-in-law, many roles. But I believe that the role of a daughter is one of the most complex roles. So here in this poem, we are going to understand the misery, the pain, the indecisiveness, the guilt, many things of a daughter who is leaving her mother all alone by herself because she has to go somewhere to meet some commitments, to look after her husband, children. So the poem My Mother at 66 by Kamala Das. Kamala Das is a very prolific writer. In this poem, she has captured the complex subtleties of human relationships in lyrical idiom. You will notice that this poem is rather a sentence punctuated by many commas, but there is no full stop. So this poem confirms an old belief we had that poetry is a spontaneous flow of powerful emotions, and when a flow is spontaneous, then there is no break, there is no full stop. Well, I will read out this poem first and then I will explain it accordingly. Driving from my parents' home to Cochin last Friday morning, I saw my mother beside me, doze, open-mouthed, her face ashen like that of a corpse, and realized with pain that she was as old as she looked, but soon put that thought away and looked out at young trees sprinting, and the merry children spilling out of their homes. But after the airport security check, standing a few yards away, I looked again at her, one pale as a late winter's moon, and felt that old familiar ache, my childhood's fear. But all I said was, "See you soon, Amma." All I did was smile and smile and smile. The poet is leaving for some place. She has to catch a plane from Cochin airport. She had come to her parents' house at Cochin. She might have spent her holidays there, but now she is going back. Her mother has come to see of her. The writer is driving a car and her mother is sitting beside her. Now when the poet sees her mother while driving from her parents' home to Cochin airport, she looks at her mother and she is horribly shocked to see her mother's face. Her mother's face has become very old, like a corpse face, like a dead person's face. Now the writer realizes with pain that her mother has become very old. And as we know that old age leads to death. So that is why the writer has a horrible fear that perhaps her mother is approaching her death. Now the writer needs some discretion. Writer needs some diversion. This usually happens with us, that when we have an unhappy thought, we try to disgrace from that thought. We start watching a movie, we start playing with our children, we go out for a walk, and this is how we try to forget, try to divert that thought. So the writer, in order to divert this thought, she looks out of her window. And what does she find there? She finds trees sprinting and merry children spilling. Trees sprinting means the trees are running past the car. As we sit in a moving vehicle, all the stationary objects like trees, huts, electric poles, they seem to be moving past us. They are stationary, but they seem to be moving past us. So the writer has the feeling that the trees are sprinting and the merry children, the happy children, they are coming out of their homes. Here the writer has made a very good contrast between the mother and the trees and children. The mother symbolizes old age. The mother symbolizes passivity, devoid of energy, loss of energy, loss of youth, while the trees and the children, they symbolize vitality, youth, vigor, life. So the writer has made a deep contrast between the mother and the trees and children. But after the airport security check, standing a few yards away, now the writer reaches to the airport, and as we know that airports are usually very impersonal places. There is a lot of commotion, hue and cry, and the writer has to get his boarding pass cleared. Security check has to be done. She has to clear her baggage and all sort of things. So after having all this work done, after dispensing with all these formalities, the writer again has a look on her mother. And what does she see? She sees her mother standing a few yards away. She is wan. Her face is devoid of any natural youth, color. It has become faded. The mother has been compared to a late winter's moon. As a late winter's moon is enveloped with mist, fog, a late winter's moon is waning. The same way, the writer's mother has lost her glory, her shine, her vitality, like the late winter's moon. She has lost her shine, as the late winter's moon has lost its shine, its glory. In the same way, mother has lost her glory, her shine, her prime, and both symbolize as if they are approaching death. Now the writer has the familiar ache, pain. This pain she has had since her childhood. Since her childhood, she believed that one of the days she would lose her mother. And this fear is not about her mother only. It is a mutual fear. It is a universal fear. The writer not only is afraid of her mother's death, she in fact is afraid of her own death. Because we are all human beings, we are ephemeral, we are temporary. So everybody has to meet death. Now, death is inevitable. In the same way, the writer has had a childhood's fear that some or other day her mother will die, she will lose her mother. And she is also afraid that the same fate she has to meet. But all I said was, see you soon, Amma. All I did was smile and smile and smile. Now the writer, what do you think? The writer also has a guilty conscience. She is leaving her mother all alone by herself. We do not know what compulsions she has. Why can't she take her mother with her? Why can't she stay with her mother? Frankly, we do not know. But we know one thing for certain, that the writer has a guilty conscience. Leaving her mother all alone. She has not to forgo her other responsibilities. Maybe she's working somewhere, maybe she has a husband, her children to look after. So that is why she is leaving for that place, and she is leaving her mother alone. So all I said was, see you soon, Amma. Just to console her mother, just to give a positive goodbye to her mother, she says, see you soon, Amma. She is internally very afraid, but she holds a bold exterior. So she consoles her mother that they would meet again. It may be possible that she doesn't believe her words. She is afraid that by the next time she comes, her mother will not be alive. Who knows? But she says, see you soon, Amma. All I did was smile and smile and smile. And again, she smiles not once, not twice, but thrice. Why? To counteract this pain, this misery, this negative feeling that she has in her and around her. So she has to counteract, she has to overrule all the sad feelings. So what does she do? She doesn't smile once, but she smiles and she smiles. So she has an overdose of smiling. Just to balance the damage which has been done. She consoles her mother that they would meet again, and she smiles and smiles and smiles to give a positive and to their meeting, and of course to this chapter. So dear friends, I have concluded this chapter. I hope you must have understood the chapter, and you must be benefited by this explanation. Thank you very much. Have a good day.